Greetings comrades, my name is Miraculous, and in today's video I'm going to be focusing on something that happened on Facebook. This isn't going to be a battle log video, it's not, don't worry about that. The reason why I'm making this video actually relates to something that's happened on my Facebook page, Gigantian Apologetics. Please do follow if you haven't already. So what happened was, in a group of mine several days ago, I saw this interesting story that someone claimed about the Blessed Virgin Mary, how apparently during a certain prayer in the Rosary, this statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary was actually bowing in response to a prayer. And I thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. So I copied the images and the story onto my Facebook page and I shared it around a few groups. And this got a lot of, you definitely got a lot of feedback. There are a lot of people going, well, wow, that's incredible, or the usual amen. And then there were some people saying, this doesn't look genuine, like this looks like just something about camera angles. And so I decided to actually try and address this matter, because if this is an actual miracle, then another miracle under the belt of the church. That's good stuff. If it's not a miracle, then we should probably stay away from it a little bit. And so that's the whole point of this video. I'm going to be looking at this image and looking at these images and seeing if there's any credibility to them. So according to the story, and I'm going to be quoting from the actual apparent story here, it happened praying the Rosary when it was said, "Glory to the Father, to the Son, and the Holy Spirit." Photo sent by Father Efren Vives. In the house of the Colombian actress Margalida Castro, devoted to the Virgin Mary, when in the prayer they said, "Glory to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit," the image of the Blessed Virgin Mary bowed in respect. And then the two images it shows one statue standing erect in front of a bunch of rosaries and pictures in the background before a wall, and the second picture she's bowing over slightly. Now, if this is true, then this would absolutely be a miracle if it was true. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. I'm going to see whether or not there's any chance of this actually being true. So what I'm going to first note here is that the person involved here, Margalida, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. This is not not her first encounter with the Blessed Virgin Mary. She doesn't claim to be a visionary, as far as I know, but from the information that I've gleaned from her, she's apparently very devout, and she's had several visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. She's not like claiming to be a visionary or anything, but she's just had several encounters with her. Something else I also noticed when looking at the statue is that I've seen this exact statue many, many, many times, and I'm sure we all have as well. It's a common design of Marian statues. I'm sure we can all agree to that. And when looking at this information and then the pictures, something I definitely noticed is that I've never seen a statue of this art style, or this particular statue, ever in a bowing position like that. She's always been like this, like with her head slightly leaning forward, seeming to look down, but she's never actually been in a bowing position before. Which would mean that if this is a bowing statue, then it's either a custom-made one, or it is an edited picture. Or it is an edited picture or a damaged, maybe, statue, made to look like it's bending over. So the first thing I want to address is the camera angle. Now, in the first picture, we can see that we're actually looking almost eye level with her, so almost eye level. So try and do an eye level angle. So this is roughly eye level. Okay, my hand is pointing straight at the camera. In the next picture, we are actually at a slightly lower angle. So instead, so I don't want my hands shaking. In this angle, we're looking up at her like this. Now, if this was just a simple trick of angles, we would expect this to be the other way around. And I'm going to demonstrate this to you using a statue of Jesus I have here. So, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you may remember I talk about the box, it belongs to the Catholic Society. One of the old members there, her grandmother died, and she brought a box of all of her religious items like prayer cards and statues and rosaries and over the years, people would take from it when they wanted to. And this is one of the statues I got. Now, in this statue, you can clearly see this is the most Sacred Heart of Jesus. Okay, this is glass, but this is plastic, by the way. Okay. So, in this statue, as you can see here, Jesus is clearly not looking straight up. He's looking slightly downwards, at a slight downwards angle. Okay, similar to this statue here. Now, if I were looking at this statue, in order for him to be looking directly at me, okay, in order to make him look directly at me, this statue would have to be roughly at an angle like this. However, we can clearly tell this the statue is not staring straight at me because I have to tilt it. And so you can clearly see that by just the angle I'm holding it. Now, if there was no base of the statue that I could see, and if there was no glass here, and I couldn't see the actual video I'm recording, you could say that this statue was standing erect, looking straight at me. However, we clearly know that's not the case. This is him standing erect, and he's clearly looking down at my chest here. Now, this Marian statue is in a similar position to this Jesus statue here. This original statue, just like in this original picture here, she's not staring straight at the camera. She's actually staring slightly downwards, usually because we kneel before these statues. Not because we worship her, no, but we kneel before the statue as a sign of respect. And so these statues are depicted as looking down, looking down upon us. So from this angle, she's actually matching, in a sense, this from eye level. She's actually matching us. So Jesus is right now eye level with me, and he's currently looking slightly downwards, like she is in this picture. In the second image, it looks like she's actually bowing. And for Jesus to look like he's bowing, he would have to be at a very, very strange angle like this. But I can clearly tell that he's not bowing, because again, this angle is simply way too extreme. But even then, for it to literally look like the same angle that she's bowing in this picture, he would have to look like this. And I can clearly see that he's not standing straight, because the laws of physics tell me no statue can stand like this and actually stand, it'll just fall over. And I can clearly see the base is not flat, and I can see the plastic casing around this is not flat. And because of that, I know that this statue is not bowing over. So to look at this statue here, which it is, again, a similar position like this, we can tell that simply by the first picture is taken on eye level, and so she's not looking directly at the camera, just as Jesus right now is not looking at me. She's not standing perfectly straight, otherwise the camera would have to be the camera angle would have to be lower than the statue itself, like this, or the statue would have to somehow be orientated leaning back slightly. To get this picture, if this was simply just a matter of angles that the camera was looking at, we would have to be standing almost directly over this statue in order to see that, because there's simply no way that this would look like it's bowing from any angle because of the way this statue is designed. So for this statue here, it would have to be custom designed to actually look like it's leaning over, and this has to be a completely separate statue, because the very design of this statue, from what we've seen, from all the statues that are identical to this one, no angle does it ever look like she is still standing vertically from here below, but then somehow she's leaning like this. There is no statue out there of her in this art style, this specific statue, in that position. There is simply no angle that you can actually look at a statue like that and see it as the same statue, or not a custom-made statue. So just if I confused you a little bit with that one, the original statue is standing erect, okay? Well, except the head. The head is bowing over slightly, looking down at the ground. In order to get this position, we would have to be looking almost vertically down at the head of the statue. You can't simply just be standing slightly higher than eye level, because you can clearly see, even if I do this, I can clearly see that he's not bowing. I can see that his head is lower, and it's not actually eye level, but he still doesn't look like he's bowing, not at all. So in order to get this position, he would have to literally the statue would have to look like this. But we know that statues in this art style aren't bending over or leaning over in this angle at all. Especially that the only thing that's really moved here is just everything above her neck. Everything below her neck is in the exact same position. Her shoulders, everything. She's literally just doing this. She's not bowing over completely. She's just doing this effectively. She's barely moved. What's more, if you also look at the background, you'll see that the pictures in the background remain the exact same size. And that's quite important, because if you were going to try and make this statue leaning over somehow look like she's standing erect, you would have to be like right underneath her in order to get that right angle. But in that process, you would also be quite close to the wall, and so all the pictures in the background would be significantly larger whenever there was a picture of her seeming to stand erect. Yet we see that's not the case here. Everything is of the everything is of the exact same size. If you also look at the flowers next to the statues of the Blessed Virgin Mary, we see that in the first picture she seems to be standing taller than them. And then if you look at the flowers in the second picture, all of a sudden now these flowers seem to be taller than her, or roughly the same size. This is another indication that the second picture is actually taken from a lower angle than it is the first picture. Because otherwise she would look like she's standing taller than the flowers herself. Even if she was standing straight, her crown would be a little bit taller than the flowers. But in the first picture, she clearly, everything above the neck is above the flowers. So that's an indication that whoever took this picture definitely was kneeling down. I mean, if you saw a statue kneel, a religious statue kneel, you would probably you'd probably fall on your knees as well. So whoever took the second picture was at a lower angle, to which the flowers actually look larger than or equal to the size of the Blessed Virgin Mary statue. So we've confirmed that by looking at the structure of the statue, if it were to somehow have been constructed to look like it was leaning over from a certain angle or bowing in the head from a certain angle, it would be very strange. It would firstly have to be custom made, because statues of this design don't look like this from any angle. They just have a slightly bowing head, and that's it. I know, because I think we actually have a statue like this in my cathedral, so I know what I'm talking about. The second thing is that, due to the camera positions, if we were to see the Blessed Virgin Mary's head, the top of her head, the top of her crown, okay, the only way we'll be able to see that is if we were actually at a higher angle in the second picture than if we were in the first picture. Because if this is just, again, a matter of angles, so she wasn't actually moving, the only way we would be able to see a non-moving statue's head with the head slightly bowed like this, from standing straight, we would have to be at this angle here, and to be seeing the top of the head, you would have to be up here. So that's clearly a significant difference in angles here. And then if you look at something like the flowers, in which they seem to be shorter than the statue in the first picture, in which we are almost eye level with the statue. But in the second picture, they suddenly seem to be. I'm trying not to fall off the chair, okay? Yeah? In the second picture, they suddenly seem to be almost the exact same height. The only way that could be possible. Sorry if I'm shaking. It's hard to hold myself in this position. The only way it could be possible to look like they were in the same angle. Okay, I'm just going to stand up straight because my core muscles are already having a workout. The only way it would be possible to have flowers looking shorter than they are here, to suddenly looking the exact same height, is if we were looking at the flowers and the picture from a lower angle. Because then that would, in a sense, exaggerate the height. They seem to be the same flowers anyway. I mean, you can clearly see it in the petal patterns, in the number of flowers showing and everything, and even the pictures on the wall remain the same size. So we know that this isn't a zoomed in shot here, and then a slightly further out shot here or something. However, all this matters on whether or not these pictures are actually authentic. And I will say there is some limitations to this, because obviously I can't go and actually meet with the actress and the priest who took these pictures. So we're gonna have to take their word that these pictures are authentic. To which some of you may say, okay, but how can you tell they haven't been edited? Well, and I'm not saying that my opinion here is infallible, okay, I'm not. But I've worked with photo editing and video editing software for many years, especially on my channel. I've told you before, my channel is over 6 years old, and for 4 of those years I've been producing content. And one of the things that I have to do is edit pictures and stuff to try and make things like thumbnails. And so, because of my experience with 6+ or so years on GIMP, it's easier for me to spot whether or not an image has been edited in any way, because I can usually it's just easier for me to see it. Okay, ask anyone who's worked with photo editing software, they'll tell you that it's easier for them to spot fakes. And looking at these pictures, I don't see any sign that they're a fake at all. I see all the light coming from a single angle. I don't see any sign that something has been cropped or cut out. I don't see any blurring lines. I don't see any paint. I don't see colored in sections. I don't see any sign that something was distorted to appear in a certain way. Something that's incredibly hard for a sculpture to do, especially something like an animatronic. Whenever you see them trying to look lifelike, one of the hardest things to make anything inanimate look lifelike is to actually make it almost like bend an arm or something without showing gaps in the suit or whatever. And one of the ways that they do that is, just like us, we have flexible skin, and so it forms a single layer. You don't see like any chinks in the suit or whatever, or in our skin. You don't see any chinks. And the way the statue is bowing over, we don't see any like cracks in the neck. We don't see any like slots or spaces which allow movement in the neck to bow. So the way the statue is bending, it genuinely looks like a literal person is standing there bowing their head. Almost like the neck. The neck itself has the properties of flesh. So the skin on the back can stretch, the skin on the front can relax a little bit, the muscles and bones work the correct way to make it look like the head is literally bowing. Whilst I'm not saying that my opinion here is infallible either, from my analysis of these pictures, the quality of them, the lack of any sign that they've been altered or edited in any way, the very nature of these statues, the very structure of this specific type of statue, the angles that would be required to make it look like they were standing straight versus bowing over, and the background, the quality of the importance of the details in the background to show that this is the same environment, it's the same distance these pictures are taken, it's just different angles and everything. From what I can tell, these pictures are authentic. But again, if you want to maybe have a proper investigation into this, you're very welcome to. And if they're wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. My opinion is not infallible. But from what I've seen, these pictures are authentic, and you know what? They're miraculous, and I'm glad that they are miraculous. Once more, because I know that there will always be people who will say that I'm trying to claim it to be infallible. I'm not. If these pictures are wrong, I'll apologize. But I see nothing wrong with seeing these pictures as miraculous, or seeing this instance as miraculous, because there's simply no other way to explain this scientifically. There just is no way. So my verdict on this is that these pictures are authentic. So that's it for this video. So if you like this video, please do give it a like. Please do share my videos, and please do comment on what you think of them. And any other videos you want me to do, please do subscribe to my channel so you can see more content. And please do ring the bell so you can keep up to date with my video releases. Next episode, not sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe you guys, if you have any more pictures of apparitions or statues bowing, whatever, maybe you guys can tell me to look at them, and I'll see whether or not it's possible for them to be authentic. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I'm sure I could give a good opinion on their possibility of being authentic. So, yep, if you guys want to see this image as a miracle, you're very welcome to. From my conclusion, it is miraculous. If you want to launch an investigation, please let me know the results. But that's it for this video. So God bless you all. See you next video, comrades. Until then.